Hi, I'm Alchemist2, and I'm back again with another movie review. Recently, I watched Snatch, which is directed by one of my favorite people in the entire world, Guy Ritchie. And the story is rather multi-layered. Well, not entirely, it's just how things are connected along the way, and the characters that are involved. Um, it's very interesting how it's done and how the camera angles are uh, manipulated and used. I also found the characters to be very engaging and the story to be uh, both enjoyable and just adrenaline packed. You had to really pay attention to what was going on. Um, I really enjoyed the film. I myself, as far as action films are concerned, I give it 3.5, almost 4, but it kind of left it up in the air at the end, which I really didn't care for, but it made sense in its own way. I won't describe what happens, but um, it was a very funny film, and I thought that Mr. Pitt, Brad Pitt himself, was just outstanding. He was incredible as a gypsy character. And what's even more intriguing is I have been watching a series called My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding, if you've ever heard of it. Uh, Basically, it's about the gypsy people, and it just harkened to that, and the fact that people in London really do not trust gypsies. It's true. There is a lot of honesty and forthrightness in that statement. I think it's funny that they call trailers caravans. Of course, you get to become acquainted with the British language, and there was a point that I thought was really hilarious when Avi comes to London and he says, England, the land of English, yet nobody speaks English. Or something to that effect. I'm just paraphrasing, but it just proves how people see Americans and how we're portrayed in many respects. I think you could probably call him the disgruntled American, or the American searching for answers and riches beyond his wildest dreams. I won't say how that begins because it's very labyrinthine how it is all presented, but it's so much fun and very entertaining. Uh, Boxing is involved. I'll just say that as part of the plot. Um, it's a different film from what I've seen before, but everything is so tight in the way that it's done. It's really intriguing to see how everything is connected within the duration of the film itself. So it's the only letdown I thought that the film had was, well, the ending. But as far as movies go, action adventure films, which are some of my favorites, um, this one is at the top of the list. I think it's really uh, sensationally done, and everybody did a tremendous job. Plus, it also has a really good amount of humor in it, and I love to hear the English language spoken with the Queen's English. Well, you probably know that from my former reviews when I've spoken of my Anglophilia. Um, I'm not really sure what else to say about Snatch other than it's really a good movie, and I loved it. And if you're an action adventure fan, you definitely have to see this. It's imperative that you do. Um, I really have enjoyed Guy Ritchie's films. They're very stylized, and you can see a lot of methodologies that he uses in subsequent films after that, particularly slow motion, which he used quite a bit with uh, Sherlock Holmes, the second Sherlock Holmes, more so than the first. Um, I loved the music in it. I thought that the music was just absolutely incredible, and everything fit the situation and the scenarios that were occurring on screen. And it was just really an enjoyable movie, and I absolutely adored it. So, other than that, I can't really say that much else about the film, other than it's not what you're expecting, and it's a little bit different from action adventure movies that you would find over here in the States. It's still got the adrenaline rush that you're looking for, which I really, savored. Uh, there are a lot of really funny moments, particularly with Tyrone and his crew. Uh, one of my favorite scenes in the movie would be when Tyrone is in a getaway car and he takes forever getting out of it, and they say, Tyrone is our getaway driver. How in the heck are we supposed to get to escape from the scene scot free with him as our getaway driver? Because he's just, he's fat and he can hardly move, and it's just funny. And of course, there's a dog involved, and I like the dog quite a bit. The dog is good comedy relief. Um, One of my favorite characters was Freddy Four Fingers. Um, I'm not gonna say what happened to him because I was a little bit. Well, I wasn't really disappointed, but I was a little sad. But I liked all the different characters, even Brick, even though Brick is a major jerk and a bastard, for lack of a better word. But he has every reason to be, because he is just that type of character. He means business and he doesn't take any guff from anybody. But you never know who's playing who within this film, and well, at the end, near the very end, you figure out who's been played. Um, but it's just a very intriguing film, and dealing with the realm of crime and all that, and gangsters and whatnot. And it's just very fascinating, I felt, just to see that dynamic between different characters and how they react to situations, particularly Turkish and Tommy. Tommy at the beginning, he comes off as kind of a whiny little panty waist. Later on, he gets some backbone, which I like to see. And this portrays people from Britain in a different way, because usually if you see a film over here about British people, they're portrayed as kind of, you know, pompous, posh, sometimes homosexual, which is not true at all. I can tell you that from experience, having British friends. Oh, they can hold their own and they'll cuss like sailors. Even worse. I got a friend from the East End, and sometimes I have real difficulty understanding what he says. And I kind of wish he came with subtitles, but um, it just reminded me of that when they meet Mikey, who's played by Brad Pitt so beautifully, and him speaking gypsy basically, and them not really comprehending what, especially when he's wheeling and dealing, what we call wheeling and dealing over here in the States. You know what I mean by that? But over there, they just say he's talking around. I forget what they called the expression, but it's just his ability to confuse and befuddle and addlepate, which he does very well. And it's just really an amazing film, and very, very enjoyable. And if you have the chance to see it, do, because it's well worth your time, and it's a classic. It really is a classic. And I I think it's probably one of Guy Ritchie's best films, other than uh, Shoot 'em Up, which actually is a guilty pleasure of mine. I know a lot of people say, well, Shoot 'em Up was a horrid film, which I don't think it is. It's just it's just a fun-filled movie, and it's more. This one makes you think. This one keeps your brain engaged. Shoot 'em Up is more one of those films that's what I call popcorn fluff. It just is entertaining. Yeah, the plot is really good, needless to say, but you don't have to think as much as you do with Snatch. Snatch, you really have to engage your brain, and you have to pay attention to what's going on because it comes at you in just such a rush that you really have to be on your toes as to what's going to happen next. But I do love a film like that, and I love the interconnectivity of the whole entire thing, and it's just incredible and exceptionally done, and it's just a magnificent film. I give two thumbs up, and that I highly, highly recommend.